When I started this project, I set out to see the differences between the US and the UK when it came to relationships and interactions. What I actually found out, through research and doing countless interviews, was all the things we had in common. From the way we speak to our teachers, to the way we interact with people we like, or just the way we make friends. There's so many things that are similar between two separate groups of people that I didn't really understand. It's really easy on the outside to just assume that just because we come from two different cultures that everything would be different. But after interviewing some individuals, I really realized we go about things the same way, just from different sides of the pond.
Where are you from? Adriana Urban, 19, and I'm from Montana.
My name is Aiden Dennehy. I'm 20 years old, and I'm from Rochester, New York.
My name's Laura Mohan. I'm 20, and I'm from Devon.
I'm Samantha Hawkes. I'm 19 and I'm from Darlington.
How do you interact with people you're attracted to?
Awkwardly. I don't know. I don't usually.
So you're more like a shy type?
Yeah.
Let them come to you?
Yeah.
Okay, how do you interact with people you're attracted to?
I don't. Normally I'm just a bit of a... Can I swear? I can't swear, can I? Normally I'm just a bit horrible to them, to be fair. My version of flirting is insulting people.
How do you make friends?
I just talk to people and hopefully they want to talk to me. I don't know. I don't really have like a formula for it, but it's like if I want to make a friend, I'll try to talk to them and see if we have common interests and stuff.
And how do you go about making friends?
A lot of the time I'm too socially anxious to talk to people, so I normally wait till people come up to me, or because of social media, I find people who have the same interests as me, and then I start a conversation through that, and I get to know them, and then the friendship can build up from there.
And how would you say you interact with your teachers? Is it more professional or more friendship?
At my home university, my school is much smaller, so it's kind of we're closer because there's less kids in the class, and it's not really a lecture. It's more like a class. And here I haven't talked to I've talked to one professor, and Candida, I'm closer to her because she's our advisor. So.
And how do you interact with your teachers? Is it very professional, or is it kind of friendship kind of thing?
It depends on the tutor itself. A lot of the time, if they have a good sense of humour, and that can build up a friendship as well as a professional relationship. But sometimes I just keep to myself unless I really need support from the tutors, and then I go towards them for help.
And how do you interact with strangers?
I don't know. I like to be that person that smiles on the street so that they're like, oh, strangers are nice. Not everyone's terrible in the world, you know? That's me.
And how do you interact with strangers?
Out on the street? I don't know, it depends on the context. Just if it's just a stranger, it'd be like a, right? A nod, awkward nod. But other than that, nah, I don't, if I can avoid it.
And how open or transparent are you with other people?
I like to think I'm pretty open.
How open or transparent would you say you are with others?
Pretty open and transparent, I think.
And how open and transparent are you with other people?
Oh, 100%. I just talk about anything, not really. I haven't got anything to hide, nothing bothers me, I'll talk about anything.
And how transparent would you say you are with other people, either friends, family, or just random people that you meet?
What does transparent mean?
Kind of being open and being very honest.
A lot of the time I'm quite introverted, so I don't really open up as much unless I really trust them and I really know them, which would probably take a few years for me to do that. Or if I really get along with someone and I know I can trust them, then I tend to open up a lot more.
So like I said at the beginning of the video, there were a lot of similarities that I saw between the British teens and the US teens. I think the biggest part of that contributes to the fact that we're all in Generation Z. When I was doing my research, I had to make sure to really look into Generation Z and see if that really was a factor into it, and I think it really was. A website that I looked at had a quote that said, a 2014 study of Generation Z goes to college found that Generation Z students self-identify as being loyal, compassionate, thoughtful, open-minded, responsible, and determined. I think that was really represented in all the answers that everybody gave, especially when I asked people how open and transparent they were. Everybody was like, yeah, I'm really open and transparent, and just the way people thought about their answers and how they perceived the questions, I think everybody was really compassionate and thoughtful. And I think that comes with being a part of Generation Z. It's a very diverse and accepting generation, which is kind of new. And I think all of us growing up in that really has contributed to everybody being very open-minded. The next point that kind of stood out to me was the aspect of relationships and friendships. When I asked about relationships, everybody was like, oh no, I don't really talk to people that I'm attracted to. I kind of just wait for them to come to me and stuff like that. And even with the aspect of friendship, there's not really a set plan for it, and most of the time it's over social media. Like a quote from a journal that I read said, females tend to use cell phones or text messaging and online social sites more so than males. And my interviews was more females than males, and I think their answers really did reflect that statistic. It's so much easier to talk to people you like or people you want to be friends with over a text screen than it is to talk to them in person. The next point that I made was interacting with teachers. I made that point really because I heard a lot of talks of all the Americans talking about how different it was here than at their personal universities. And I feel like their answers really reflected that. We really want to be in tune with our teachers, have a good relationship with them, and be able to feel comfortable talking to them in whatever issue we might come up. Like the quote said from the Generation Z website, that Generation Z college students, they're learning to be practical and hands-on, and they want their professors to help them engage and apply the content rather than just telling them what they could find online. And I feel like that was really reflective in the answers, and we want teachers that are going to help us learn, not just give us info that we could just Google. The point about strangers was really to talk about trust as a whole, because it takes a lot of trust to be able to just talk to somebody on the street. And there was a kind of a flip-flop of answer. One person would be more open to talking to people on the street, and another might not. And I found a quote that said, we can assume in general others like ourselves are trustworthy. That is, people of goodwill would choose to do things that benefit rather than take advantage of fellow members in the community. And I feel like it's fundamentally about trust. Being able to talk to somebody in the street or help somebody out is just trusting another human being to be kind and decent and accept it. The last quote that I looked up said students with international friendships had higher scores on open-mindedness and lower scores on intercultural communication apprehension. And I feel like that's a really good quote to kind of sum up everything. This intercultural interaction that we're all having, interacting with people from all over Britain or all over the world, I think has really helped become more open-minded and be less apprehensive when things are different or when people think differently from you. But I think it's been a really easy transition because we all think so similarly. So I guess to conclude my video, I would say that while there are a lot of different things about living here in the UK, I find comfort in being able to find similar ideals in my peers and the people around me.